Society. We have our current president, Nick Foster, here today. So say hello to Nick. And we have our past president, David John, here. So David, say hello. David has been good about coming to events. Over the years, he's come to quite a few of them, so we appreciate it. I will announce the upcoming events that we have, which are just our annual meeting and our lunch is at Greenwood on December 6th. It's at noon. We're going to have the high school students with Wes Anderson performing some music for us, so that should be enjoyable. We have an open house on December 14th from 9 to 12 in the morning. So the museum will be open that morning, and we will have cinnamon rolls that Mary Weaver is providing. We'll have cookies, and we'll have some things for sale. We'll have some local vendors having things for sale. And we'll have Janice Harbaugh playing the piano, so there'll be music. We are adding, our calendar is almost done, which is really hard to believe, for 2025, but it's almost done. And we're adding some new events called Coffee and Conversations, and they're going to be on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And we're just going to set some tables up, a big table, and have just sit around and have coffee and something to eat. And we're going to have a presenter, some people are talking. And the first one is going to be January 11th. The snow date is January 18th. And it's the Questers, which is a local club that's devoted to history. And they're devoted to history, and we're devoted to history, and we don't really do very much together, and we don't have much interaction. And so they're going to be 4 or 5 or 6 of them here, and they're going to explain about their club and what all they're doing. It's a national organization, and there's a local chapter. So that should be interesting. Andy Geisler is one of our Historical Society board members. And Andy, do you want to talk about your event on December 1st?
Yeah, we have all strings attached to the orchestra out of Carroll. And they're on December 1st, which is first Sunday. Open house is at 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the concert, and it's first come, first serve, free. And this is their 10th appearance, and they are doing a special program for their 10th appearance. Then we have door prizes, pretty nice ones.
Yeah.
So,
We're at?
pardon?
We're at?
You forgot to tell us where to go.
Thank you. St. Patrick's at Churdan. It's 4 miles west of Churdan and a half-mile on the ground. So I encourage you to come early because it's a full house, and so it should be really good this year.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful event, so I would encourage everybody to attend who can. This event is co-sponsored by the Friends of Greene County Parks, which is a new nonprofit. I think we'll hear a little bit more about them at the end, but we are having, this is our first, we have had a fundraiser. We've sold these calendars, which have Peg Gannon's photos, last year, but this is our first other fundraiser. And so at the end, we're going to, the Historical Society always used to pass the hat at events, and we don't anymore, which I have fought for, because I don't think you should have to pay to come to an event. I think you should, if you want to give money, we're always glad to take it, but you shouldn't feel obligated. But today, we are going to pass the hat for the Friends of Greene County Parks. So if you don't want to put anything in, you don't have to, but if you do want to put something in, it'll go to the Parks organization, which is aimed at enhancing the local parks and doing things to help the county parks. And we'll learn more about that later.
Yes.
This is our speaker, who is Jacob Fernholz, who is the new Greene County naturalist with Greene County Conservation. So Jacob, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Like she said, first naturalist here for Greene County Conservation. I'll touch base a little bit on that a little bit further on. But I'm going to give a little bit of introduction about me and why I am a naturalist. What makes me a naturalist? And then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of quick moving at the end, going through some of our county parks and management areas. And then, like Margaret said, we'll go ahead and touch base a little bit about the Greene County Friends Group. So proceeding, about your naturalists, we're going to talk about the background, me as a kid, a little bit, my education, and then my professional career. Why I went ahead and got to be in a naturalist position, and what does it mean to be a naturalist. So first off, grew up on a family farm. Not very different from a lot of farms around here, except for mine was in that weird state called Wisconsin. across the river. So my grandpa at the time, he operated about 3,000 acres of cash crop farms, soybeans, corn, pretty familiar. But just like any other farm kid, I like getting in trouble with the equipment. So I got told go play in the woods instead, because ruining equipment is not exactly cheap. So I went out hunting, fishing. That's how I was able to have fun and stay out of trouble. So you can see here, me when I was about 6 years old, northern Wisconsin, my family, my parents at the time, they were both teachers. Northern Wisconsin, up around the Eau Claire area. And then my grandpa's family farm was near the Mississippi River. So I was on the river all the time and I got to catch one of those. Anyone know what that is? There's a few of them here in the, yep, flathead catfish. So that's one of my first big catfish I got to catch on the Mississippi River when I was about 12 or 14 years old. And that one was about 15 to 18 pounds. I can't remember the exact number. So of course, fishing ended up being one of my first loves. Okay, I fished anywhere I could. There was water. I thought there was a fish in it when I was young. Turns out there's not always fish in it, except for where I was at, because everywhere that was water was the Mississippi River. So there was always fish there. Every single one of these was harvested in the state of Iowa, except for which one? Anyone got an idea? I'll give you a hint. No. Good guess, though. That one's not it. That one was harvested here in Iowa. It's actually that one right there. Crappie. Yeah, black crappie. Same species as these guys. Anyone know why this one looks a little bit different? Black. It's really black, isn't it? Well, it's a black crappie. Well, black crappies, when it's spawning season, the males like to put on their black tuxedo. They like to look good for the ladies. So that's what's going on here. He's saying, hey, look at me. He's defending the nest. That's why he wanted to bite my lure. Okay? That's just some of the little things I learned, in my education growing up, that when they're fighting for ladies, they're fighting for everything for the ladies. So, and they're looking good while doing it. Well, fishing also led to hunting. Okay? Here the last 2 days, I've spent 9 hours in a tree stand. Yesterday was a little miserable, cold, wet, rainy. But thankfully I grew up in Wisconsin where it's always it's always looking like that in northern Wisconsin. Anyone have an idea which one of these, all these were harvested outside the state of Iowa, which one was harvested in the state of Iowa? Any guesses? It's actually the snow one, believe it or not. We had snow. That was harvested in Boone County here 2 years ago. Anyone have an idea where this one's at? It's another deer species. It's not a whitetail.
Nebraska.
Close. Look at the background. Look at the dirt.
South Dakota.
It's a lot further south than that. This one was actually harvested in Arizona. Okay. This guy's the same species. Guess where that one's harvested at?
Nebraska.
A little further north in Nebraska.
Canada.
Close. This is harvested in Montana. These guys over here were both harvested here, the doves as well as the geese. Those were in North Dakota. The pheasant and this mule deer here were in Montana. So again, I travel all around the United States just trying to go ahead and find that next animal, go ahead and hunt. Well, all this hunting and fishing, it's fun, provides food on the table, but it doesn't provide a career, does it? Well, my family, both teachers, they're like, you need to do something, get a little further education. My dad's a biology teacher, so he's kind of like the same things. He loved hunting and fishing. He said, why don't you go ahead and figure out where you can go to school? I don't know where that is. I haven't even thought about that. I'm a junior in high school. Why would I think about doing that? I'm thinking about where I'm going to go sit in the next stand. Well, we have a school in Wisconsin, UW Stevens Point. They got a wildlife and fisheries program. South Dakota has one too. So does Iowa State. Well, my family, because we're, big outdoorsmen, we love to go to South Dakota for Lake Oahe walleye fishing, about a week every summer. Well, I thought, if I go to South Dakota State, I got to go closer to where I know fishing spots. So again, not thinking about education, I'm thinking about fishing and hunting. I'll go ahead and go to South Dakota State. So that's what I did. I went and got my undergraduate degree at South Dakota State University, wildlife and fisheries management degree. Turns out I did a lot of hunting. There's a lot of ducks out there, a lot of pheasants, a lot of water to go fishing on. So it was pretty fun. Well, it turns out I was good enough at hunting, fishing, and education that I said, you know what, why don't I go ahead and pursue this a little more? What can a master's degree do for me? So I went to Southeast Missouri State, down there in Missouri, down the Boot Hill. Well, what am I going to do down in Missouri? Well, I'm going to work on my education, but guess what? I could go play with more fish, because again, I love fish. So here's my grad school project. I got to work with grotto scalp and their endangered species down there. They only exist in Perry County, Missouri. But they serve as an indicator species. Anyone know what an indicator species is?
Tells you how the rest of them are.
Yes, I heard that. They indicate something, it goes wrong. Basically, the canary in the coal mine, literally in caves, like a coal mine.